Why, hello there, everybody. It has been a little while since we last saw you wonderful people in the chat. I hope you have been well, because we have been busy rolling dice. And who better to roll dice with than some of my friends? But I'm getting ahead of myself. Welcome to Graham Crackers. Here at Graham Crackers, we are all about making memories with friends, whether they are playing role-playing games, tabletop role-playing games, MMO role-playing games. We do it all because, you know what? Good times with good friends are hard to come by, and they are to be cherished. And tonight, I'm joined by some super wonderful friends. So I'd love to hear three things from all of my friends here tonight. Who are they? Who are they playing? And what is their character's favorite weapon? I'd like them to describe their favorite weapon. Or favorite spell. I won't be exclusive. So, to start us all off, Khan.
What's up, everybody? I'm Confound It. I'm playing Golineth, and Golineth's favorite weapon, which I don't think they've used yet. No? Have they? No. Have? Wait. The dagger. Anyway. They have.
Hello, everyone. I'm Adam. I'm playing Rue, and Rue's favorite weapon is her cutting words, not the spell.
Excellent. Hey, I'm not muted. Hi, I'm Beldis. I'll take that back. Hi, I'm Bob, playing Beldis. Or the other way around. We'll decide later. Dwarven Bard. Favorite weapon. Also my words, because I can kill with a word and I can charm with a sound. Wait, reverse that. I don't know. Hi.
That was so poetic. I'm Jen. I'm playing Maggie, the Furbolg Druid, and Maggie's favorite spell combo. I'm elaborating it into a combo. Is that spike growth thorn whip one, where if you move every 5 feet, you move in the spike growth area, you take damage, and she just thorn whips you around in it, so you just take a ton of damage. That's her favorite. She likes the no, you don't. Get back here kind of style.
As a mother, I support her support for the leash maneuver.
Yes.
Hi everyone, it's me, Kari. I play Karis, the Tiefling Wizard, whose favorite weapon is her mind. Because through it, all things are possible.
Remind me to remember to jot down a note of feeble mind at some point. No, I would never do it. But my name is Graham, or Graham Crackers. I am DMing this wonderful campaign, as well as the counterpart, Shards of Anarion, in the homebrew world of Anarion. But, you know what? Every week, I give my players a chance to earn something. Whether it is a token of goodwill, a saving throw, or something that's going to keep them out of danger if they choose to do the recap. But the flip side, if they don't do the recap, I get to throw something bad at them. So, Kari, would you like to do the recap, or shall I?
I sure would like to do the recap. So, last time on Anarions Rest.
Oh, do you want some music for this?
Sure, why not?
Okay. How jovial do you want? Do you need the polka? What do you...
Do you have a Channel 11 news?
Maybe? Let me see here.
Channel 11.
Coming at you news, action fast.
Does everybody have Channel 11?
Who doesn't have channel? It's the best newscast in the entire tri-state area.
There.
With
We'll have
Greg
some
Fishel?
upbeat-esque.
All right. So last time on Anarions Rest, the group made their way into the Crystal Caverns, marveled by the sights of dwarven culture and engineering. They arrive at a tavern where they meet with a surprising sight, surprising but not unpleasant, of Maggie's wife and children here unexpectedly due to perilous events in Maggie's hometown of Petal Blossom. These events actually seem to dovetail with the many other strange events the group has encountered, along with Nightwalkers, strange gnolls, the curse that lies upon Maggie, and also upon the dwarves themselves. Following the leads that they gathered from this, the party then sort of split up, some heading to investigate the old Wainwright trading place within the Crystal Caverns. As the intrepid adventurers explored and questioned their Wainwright guards as to when the trading post would open, or to find alternative entrances, let's say, they spotted a strange turtle figure, seemingly dead, gray, displaced from time. None were sure, and so they followed the strange, mysterious figure down into the streets of the city, further splitting up from their friends who had remained behind in the tavern to rest and recover and decide next steps. And so we joined the party in this state. There you go. That's the recap.
Wonderful. You may take 1d6 to be applied after you have seen the result of a roll today. It does expire by the end of the session.
Oh.
All right. So you all, the three of you, are chasing this turtle. I won't say chasing. You are not running them down in the street, but rather tailing them. Your feet carry you through what you can only assume is the nighttime in the dwarven city of the Crystal Caverns. Guards are moving with pikes and halberds, moving from lantern to lantern to shop to shop. The last bits of tavern goers settling into their choice establishment seem to be moving into various houses as you trail this turtle. The turtle seems to have a stool that is tied to their shell that is chipped and seems to be missing a piece. They continue to weave expertly through the crowd. The sheer bulk of this creature, seemingly difficult for it to move, but it moves like water. I would like you all to roll me I'll give you an option. Either a dexterity saving throw, survival check, or athletics.
I can't feel my dice.
Oh no!
That's a hot.
That'll be an 11 for me.
Okay, and what did you roll? Just for my knowledge.
It's a 9 plus 4.
Which skill? Save.
Dex save.
Okay.
Dex save of 4. Hot 4.
All right.
Survival 25.
Survival 25. All right. And
I
going
thought
7
I'm
on
not
a dex
there.
save.
Was it all of us or just the two
I
of them?
think it
Yeah,
was the
that's a good
three
question.
That are present.
Okay, never mind. I still got a survival
It's okay.
25,
It's okay.
so
I
there.
will keep that.
you're
in
dealing
my
with
head.
children. You need that
Yeah.
25.
Yes, true.
Yeah.
That's to keep my children from being out there when this
absolutely.
happens.
Absolutely, because your son tries to leave the room probably like 3 times. I heard a noise going downstairs and I want to go see it. What was that?
Ornwith, get back here.
7 on a dex save.
7 on a dex save. All right. The three of you begin to weave. Unfortunately, the group of dwarves kind of moving the last day's carts and the shuffling of various goers seem to obscure your vision of your turtle targets, if you will. However, you see them round a corner, and as soon as you all kind of begin to beat feet to, get vision on them once more, they are gone. And on the street itself, the street is empty. In your head, you know that there is no way this individual could have moved to the end of this street or to a side street within the time it took you to get here. There are no footprints, and the way seems to be clear. The only thing that you are able to see is at the far end of the street, a wooden sign hangs over a door. It has a anvil and a hammer. Like a hammer is striking it, and there's kind of like sparks on it. And almost like a unnatural gust of wind begins to shake it. In a cave where there is no wind.
Rue will cast See Invisibility.
Alright.
While Rue's doing that, I try to find the name of the establishment that the sign is for.
Sure. Do you speak Dwarvish?
Hold on. I do not currently, but I believe... Hold on. I do have Comprehend Languages.
Okay, so you'd like to cast Comprehend Languages?
Yes.
Alright, so the title of the building itself is Thromberdy's Anvil. And it seems to be a arms and armor shop. And general blacksmithing. Rue, do you want to describe what your spell looks like when you cast it?
Sure. Or Rue, right?
Yes,
Sorry.
Rue.
Yeah.
I was like, wait, yeah, I think Rue casts it, and then kind of just like clockwork happens in their eyes, and then that fades away, and her eyes go like gray.
You feel your spell take effect. However, gazing down the street, there does not seem to be any invisible individuals reappearing. However, you do see on the far side down the street at the end, written in Thieves' Cant, this neon green, once it becomes visible, it's like a sheen of like an ink that someone has put on a page that only shows up under ultraviolet light, is a handprint with 3 coins and a dagger stabbing into the coins. Do you speak Thieves' Cant?
I mean, is it similar to Halfling? Or...
No. Not at all. It is as close to halfling as common.
Who's just gonna say, hey, Galanith, question. Does a handprint with 3 coins and a dagger stabbing into it mean anything to you?
Yes.
Oh, asked and answered. What might that mean?
What does that mean?
So glad you asked. So, Golden could mean a few things. Because you don't have a visual on it, and you're just kind of being described. So, the coins could indicate a few things. That someone is looking to hire, or someone pays. The dagger, either assassin work, cut purses, or mercenary work. The hand, they are actively looking.
There's either money to be had or to be stolen, but you might die trying. Or you might find a job.
Yeah, that sounds like life.
It does a little. I say we go in. Seems like a good time to me.
I mean, are they open? I don't think they are. I think everything was closing down. Like the lights have gone purple. It's nighttime.
I tap my chest pocket and just say, "It's always open when I'm around."
She takes a moment, but curiosity wins over. She's like, all right, fine. And she just like steps aside for you.
And Gollum just says, "With Magoobly, it should stay here then."
I guess a couple questions. The turtle gone. I guess that's not really a question, but do we go back to Wainwright or do we investigate Blood for Hire?
I mean, this place looks like a mom and pop shop. The Wainwrights are an entire conglomerate, so thinking
Easier
about
target.
risk involved, this is probably less risky. But realistically, like either one would be probably useful. What do you think, Galnath?
I moved to the door with my lockpick set, but first I'm gonna try and see if it's open.
Sure. So you're going to see if it's open. Are you testing the lock?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. One second.
I want it noted that Karis has stepped probably to the corner of the shop, sort of like looking down the street back and forth to just look out. Someone's gonna watch him breaking and entering.
Yeah. I mean, the previous street definitely had people on it. This one does not.
Yeah.
So Golanath, you go to test the lock, as they say. It clicks. Does not look to be unlocked.
Okay. I proceed to reach into my cloak and pull out a lockpick set.
Okay. You begin to pull out your lock set, and the first pick goes in. Trying to find the.
I'm looking.
Yes, that's the word.
The tumbler?
The tumbler. Second one, pressing up to press the leverage to press down on each individual one. I need you to make me a dexterity saving throw.
I knew it. Ooh, that one's not so bad. 22. Yeah, 22. Yep.
All right. So, you feel the lock give way almost at the same time that this trap gives. And this needle shoots out towards you. And you're able to move out of the way. However, your lockpicks are shot out the door. And where they land in the street, bouncing and kind of tumbling onto the cobblestones. And the door creaks open.
How much noise does it make?
The trap or the door? Or both?
All of the above.
Sure.
Yeah.
The trap, not a lot.
Okay.
From your experience, seems like it was like a dart trap. And
Okay.
you could probably guess it might have been poisoned. The door itself, average creaky door.
Okay. I would immediately, after the noise, I would immediately just check and see if it had gathered anyone else's attention.
For the moment, does not look like anyone has turned the street. Whether that will be the case in 30 seconds remains to be seen.
Rue, being closest to the ground, will gather up the tools and say, let's move inside.
Thanks.
And we'll scurry after with her cat.
All right. three of you enter in. Are you shutting the door behind you?
Yes.
Okay. The door shuts.
Quietly. I'm lifting up on the door, turning the very quietly.
Of course. The door gives minimal squeaking as it shuts, leaving all three of you in the darkness of this closed shop. There are two windows in which you can see the faintest purple glow of the lamplights and the lichen that glows in the city.
I'm just going to say to everyone, the door was trapped, so watch your fingers and feet. Be on your toes.
Both Karis and McGlubiet look to him, and he sees that they've got like these sort of glowing, reflective eyes. McGlubiet's are blue, and Karis's are the bright orange. But they both sort of nod, seemingly in sync, being these just blobs of black in the darkness.
So, inside, looks like your standard general trading shop. There's this counter on the far end that seems to have a till, seems to have a back storeroom connected to it, and to the floor in front of you, it seems there are like 4 or 5 mannequins that are wearing some sort of dwarven fashion and garb. Some of them are like positioned to hold like grappling hooks and tethers. Some have climbing gear. One has like a pair of mittens that are like bright pink lamb's wool.
Ooh.
And it is a weird assortment of stuff.
I just look at Rue and I was like, think there's anything that Beldis would like? Grab the mittens. I'll get the mittens.
A question. So,
Yeah.
see invisibility lasts an hour? Is there anything that is there that isn't there?
Yes. I am glad you asked. So, behind the till, there is a arrow pressing, or shaped downward, pointed towards the back room. There is a icon. Oh god, why do I choose to always say this word as a description and never pronounce it right? There is a ladder right underneath in that same glowing ink, as well as water.
Yeah, Galanath, forget the mittens for the time being. We got an arrow pointing down, a ladder, and then a water symbol under that. Does that mean anything to you? And if it does, what does it mean?
Have you been in the... What?
There's more invisible stuff.
Oh, right. What's that mean?
As far as you can interpret, there's probably a ladder going down somewhere to get where you need to go.
Got it. So what you're saying is you want me to go down the ladder?
I mean, I'm not telling you to do anything. I'm just
No,
saying
I
it's
was
an
talking
option.
to I was talking to Rue.
Oh, well, grab the mittens first, but then yeah, let's go. Or
Should we get the mittens now or on the way back out?
Can we send the Karis? Can we send the cat?
She's just holding her cat as she looks between the two. You're both closer. Why don't you just grab them?
I'll get the mittens.
And Karis, following the first instructions, which was not to touch anything other than like herself, and to watch her as she's stepping, is going to sort of move carefully through the shop and maybe like just around near the till, looking for doors, trap doors, other exits from the room.
What? Notice her heading towards the till.
Probably.
She's not being sneaky
Yeah,
about it.
I mean,
She's
she is being very deliberate with where she steps, so I think it would be easy to keep track of where she's moving. It is very much a one step, look,
and she waits.
one step, yeah.
One step.
Wait for the click of, like a false panel,
Exactly.
Then I'm just going to whisper. I probably wouldn't touch the till.
I mean, Uh,
You're
Huh.
more than welcome to. She mutters as she continues to move on.
well, let's not steal anything, aside from the gloves. But let's go down.
All right.
And
Goloneth, you were the one grabbing the gloves, correct?
no,
Mhm.
no.
Okay. Goloneth.
Hey, you know what? I've dropped its brother on the floor, so I'm going to grab it. Poison apple.
Poison apple. Okay. I'll say this. Would you like to use a crit or an advantage on your next roll?
Ah,
I'm not going to tell you what type of save it is. I'm not going to tell you what is going to happen.
It's clearly not an important role, though, if the DM is
Of course.
asking that.
Don't worry about it.
Advantage.
Advantage. All right. Roll me a wisdom saving throw.
Damn pink gloves. 15.
15.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So, can I get a perception check from Rue?
I sure am glad I
And
memorized
Rue
remove
only.
prayers.
sorry, I'm just looking at my perception. 22.
22. Rue. As Goloneth pulls these mittens, unabated from the mannequin, they come loose into their hands. However, a moment passes, two, and then you see it in the corner of the room, almost spinning from nothingness. This eye. It is black-lidded, single-slit eye of this vibrant orange that blinks once and opens, and it is looking right at Goloneth.
Graham, they're saying you sound muffled on
Oh
stream,
no! Graham sounds muffled.
but I'm going to use this time to figure out what Rue is going to do.
We'll see if this is better. Is that any better? Testing, testing, testing. How? Way better. Perfect. Okay, we have solved the problem. Almost like the gods were saying, Graham, use your streaming mic instead of your headset mic. Don't be lazy.
Nice.
Well, alright, so I will re-describe that. So,
Sure.
Rue, with your perception check, you see as Goloneth pulls these mittens off the mannequin, you see a eye spin into existence. It is black-lidded with orange pupils and a single slit, and it opens wide. It is maybe a foot by foot cube, and it is looking right at Goloneth.
I guess question, would Rue know if this was a creature or a spell?
I will let you roll. Can you cast 5th level spells, firstly?
Well, that's a question in Discord.
Oh.
Do we have our level 9 abilities now, or do we have to wait until a long rest?
I'm willing to give it to you all now, because we have been a few sessions. I would say that you haven't gotten them prepared, but you do know them. You know you are capable of probably being able to cast these. So,
Then yes, Rue has 1 5th level.
okay. Roll me a either religion or arcana check.
All right, well, those are both the same, so let's just go! That's a natural 1, baby.
Would you like to use a crit or an advantage?
Yeah, let me see. If I have one. I have one. You know what? Let's just crit it. Let's do it.
Okay. So,
Or
this...
I don't know. Is it more fun just to fail it? What do we think, gang?
Hey, I'm going to give you 5 seconds to decide.
You know what? Let's just fail it. Fuck
Okay.
it.
You don't know what this is, and I don't know if that is scarier. That you have never seen a creature or heard of a creature outside of the tales told in the Crimson Haven in the dark of night to scare both children and adults alike.
In the night. Rue's gonna try to banish this thing because they don't know what's going on.
Okay, so banishment requires a target a individual, right?
Yes, I believe so. One creature.
Okay. Describe your spell.
I think it's Rue just kind of makes a doorway with her hands, and it actually just looks like the brick wall, like in Beetlejuice, and then you draw a chalk door, and then it opens into existence. There's just light there, right behind this eyeball,
You
and
feel
maybe something happens.
you feel the divine energy flow out from you. That box forming. The feeling of your deity backing you. And this eye remains unabated. It blinks once, and then moves within 10 feet of Golanath. Staring.
Have I noticed it yet?
This is not seen by anyone that cannot see invisible items at the moment.
Gotcha.
You would have probably seen Rue's casting spells, though.
Yeah, I thought about that, and I'm just like,
Folks, we got an eye. We have
what are we voting on?
An eye?
someone's watching us.
What do you mean an eye? What kind of eye?
I just say nay.
I mean, it's like within a spitting distance from Golanath. So if we're gonna move, we should do something quick.
Who's spitting on me?
Maybe an eye. I don't know, but let's move it or lose it. We either going out or we're going down.
Yeah, where's down? Where's down?
I move towards down.
Okay, so you head behind the counter to I'm assuming the storeroom, the room behind it, where the arrow was kind of pointing. On the floor is this simple wooden trapdoor that has like an iron ring.
Detect traps.
You're gonna cast detect traps, or you're gonna
No.
search for traps?
I'm just gonna search for traps.
Sure, roll me a perception check.
Maybe I won't drop the dice this time. Ooh, that's gonna be a natural 20. So somebody's getting the sub gifted to him.
Hey, hey! There are no traps that you can see, and I mean, you look long and hard. Given you're under a little bit of stress, but you feel very confident this thing is not trapped.
Cool. Because after the dart, I'm a little on edge. Because that was close. All right, so I proceed. Slowly lift the door,
All right.
making sure it's no creaking and anything else. And then I just kind of, as I'm opening it, I look at Rue and I'm just like, what's up with this eye? What? And then as the door opens, I just kind of look down to see what I can see.
You see this iron rung ladder that seems almost connected to the floor. It's been carved and chiseled into the side of like this square tunnel going straight down. You see this ladder goes down hundreds of feet, if not thousands. It is not lit. So you can just see the range of your dark vision.
Yeah.
It is just ladders going down.
I just look back and say, this is going to be a long trip. And I start down.
Rue will peek down in the hole. and seeing how it's very far, they're going to share their 300-foot range of dark vision with everyone.
All right. For 300 feet down, it is nothing but ladder.
Neat. And Karis is just gonna start climbing down because she doesn't want to be up there with the eye.
All right. As you climb down, the eye will follow you through.
Rue's going to go ahead and close the trapdoor behind them as they're climbing in last, maybe. And it's going to say, hey, do we want to get rid of this eye? Well, I guess it doesn't really matter at this point. There's whoever sent it.
I mean, I could. If it's what I think it is. Maybe? I think. But I don't know what it looks like, and you haven't really told me what it looks like, so I'm not sure.
Would you like to make an Arcana check?
Sure.
Well, Karis, hold that thought. We may need to save these our spells for when we get down there.
I
As
mean,
they're
there is
climbing.
something to be said for someone knowing that we're down here, despite that someone maybe also not wanting us down here. You know.
Well, I guess my point being is, like, they're gonna know either way that, you know, it's kind of just one way in, one way out. So if they see us coming down, I mean, they already know we're here.
Exactly.
I guess.
mean, unless it's really bothering you, I guess.
I mean, it's not pretty. I'll give you that. It's kind of like, maybe it has pink eye. I don't know.
If it's what I think it is, then yeah, they kind of look spooky.
Yeah, it's a little creepy. It's unsettling. How are we doing down there?
It is a long way down. After 10 minutes of climbing, you have not reached the bottom.
I just say, you know, I think we should vote on it. Eyes have it. Oh, sorry. It's a long climb. I had to do it.
At the 10-minute mark, or roughly what you would prescribe, the eye vanishes.
Heads up, the eye is now gone.
Okay.
I didn't see that happening.
Golemith, how much further are we looking down there?
All the way.
Well, I mean, like, can you see an end to the climb?
There's no end in sight.
Karis is gonna pause and like hook her arm around the ladder, and she's just gonna start vibing, I guess, Arcana checking this ladder, this area.
Sure. What are you looking for? I guess is my question.
She's like trying to tell if they're trapped in like an illusion of an endless ladder.
That would be tricky now, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, roll me that Arcana check.
So, yeah, that's where she's going with this. Like, wait a second. Wow, nat 20. Cool.
Oh,
That's
hey!
20 plus 9, 29. Arcana check.
So,
Does the ladder pass the vibe check?
So Karis, somewhere deep and down in your core of your being, you so desperately want this to be an illusion. The manual labor, the feeling of your arms struggling against gravity, every step, every rung. You look, it makes so much sense. This ladder should be an illusion. There is no reason someone should climb a ladder for 10 minutes and not get somewhere. And yet, this ladder is real and solid, and you have not reached where you are going. But, because you rolled a nat 20, I'll give you one other piece of information. What if this was an entrance to the Underdark?
That was going to be the other thought. So, presumably everyone has stopped because Karis was the first one down, and she has just sort of held position on this ladder. She takes a deep
Rue
breath
definitely steps on your hand.
Yeah. Stop. So I got
Ow.
some good news and some bad news. The good news is the ladder is not an illusion. The bad news is this is probably a way down into the Underdark, and that's why the thing is so gosh darn long. Do we want to go back? I'm
Under
feeling
what?
like going back's the smarter option. Alternatively, I can cast Featherfall and we can just fall the rest of the way, because that would be way easier than this.
Rue, I'm gonna ask you a question.
Go on.
You are familiar with the Underdark. Do you think this would be something that would scare Rue?
I think better question, would they probably think it's not a great idea, but I think, Rue's helped a lot of people. They're not afraid to die.
That is absolutely fair. I will say this. As you're kind of climbing, a name comes to mind. Mallory.
You're muted.
Rue totally remembers Mallory.
Do you need a recap?
Yeah. Oh, well, hold
Yeah.
on, let me. Yeah.
Yeah,
Please,
so-
if you have it.
You remember as you're climbing, and I think this has been building up, even before you stepping on Karis's hands. You remember underneath Crimson Haven back when you worked as a shepherd sneaking people out of the city. Through the sluice gates, through the Underdark itself, when people couldn't pay enough. You remember Mallory, a vampire, who lived underneath the Crimson Haven, who tended to eat anyone that didn't chip up money. When you stepped up and hit him and all of his coven with divine light to save the last group you ever escorted out of the city to flee the Crimson Haven, you thought you were done. You thought you would never have to think about Mallory ever again. I wonder what they're up to.
Until Mallory. So, point of interest, I think a few sessions back we were all talking about how we're all wanted by various organizations and killers. I may be pissed off a vampire group, and they are probably down there.
Like down here in this part of the Underdark specifically?
No one can know. Yes, Bob.
That's
That's
true. Like, are they nomadic vampires? That would be interesting. I didn't
Well,
know
they
vampires were
are-
nomadic.
They do kind of shepherd people in and out of the Crimson Haven for a very steep price. So they
Ooh.
may be.
Oh, maybe this is at the end of one of their routes. Huh.
Yeah.
Yeah, that does put a damper on things.
Yeah, I hit them with some daylight, and so they're not gonna be happy to see me.
Do we have more daylight to throw at them?
Oh, my deity is filled with daylight. If you want to go tussle with some vampires, I'm down to do it. But let's just say that's maybe what we're getting ourselves into here.
Like I said, I'm very much in favor of we could climb back up and maybe take more of the mittens. I don't know. It feels safer than going on without any of the rest of the other people that we usually have along for these kinds of things.
Gollum just says vampires don't exist and starts climbing back up.
Are you like climbing over us?
Well, he's
Vampires don't exist.
climbs over Rue from between because he's tall enough to reach up and then just.
Rue like swings to one side. Yeah, okay, that's all right. That's what we're doing. Yeah, okay.
All right, yeah. After you, Rue.
And then you see Gollum just kind of pop his cloak over his neck.
Vampires don't exist. Proceeds to quickly move away from the vampire. Oh, I love that. I love that for him.
At this
Anyway.
point, it's been about 13 minutes that you have been climbing on this ladder as Golnoth begins to climb up.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all coming?
Lucky 13.
Come on. Come on.
Yeah,
We're coming!
okay.
You have to shout!
Jeez, so Pete. Yeah, all right. I guess let's go back to the inn. We have things to share with the group.
Lots of things to share.
I'm more interested in going back to the out.
Nice. I see what you did there. That's great.
I wasn't calling vampires on the thing that he was afraid of, were you?
I just don't want us to bite off more than we can chew.
I just don't. He's. No, you can never tell with him.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying. I just. Of all the things, he wasn't freaked out that much by the Nightwalker. And arguably, they're really similar.
They don't exist.
They do exist. I dealt with them.
Why is there so many wrongs?
How wide would you say this thing is?
This tunnel?
Yeah.
Maybe about 10 feet by 10 feet.
Perfect. Rue is gonna let Karis go by her, and then we're gonna go ahead and cast Moonbeam directly below them, just to cut off anything that might be.
Anyone on the ladder.
Alright, are you trying to damage the ladder, or are you just trying to have this moonbeam shoot all the way down as far as you can get it?
Well, I think it only affects creatures, so just to cover their retreat.
Your
suppose.
proverbial tracks. This radiant beam of moonlight just shines down, illuminating a empty rung, and an empty rung, and another empty rung, as all of you begin to double pace your way back up. It is about, we'll say you're climbing fast at this point. How fast are you all climbing?
As fast as I can.
All right, I need to roll
Like,
a
clearly
dex.
Colin Up is taking the dash action.
Yep. I would like
Fact.
anyone that is climbing at a fast pace, I would like a dex saving throw from. Because
Okay.
when you rush, you make mistakes.
And that's going to be 17 on the die plus 6, math, 23.
23. Yeah, you are easily able to keep grabbing rung after rung after rung after rung, keeping your mind focused on the potential danger. Not just falling, but also...
I'm thinking of all the ways that vampires don't exist.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
you've never
Karis
seen
is
one,
weak.
I think.
So she's just moving at a normal, I guess, fast clip of a normal person because she's got little baby arms. She doesn't like doing this whole physical activity thing, so she's going as fast as she can. It is not that fast.
All right. So, after about 10 or so minutes, you all are back in that storeroom. Where do you go next? Do you return back to the inn?
I'm shutting the door.
Yep.
I'm going and grabbing 3 of the 5 mannequins.
Mm-hmm.
I'm putting 2 on the front latch and 1 in the center.
Okay. All right.
Karis is massaging her arms and moving out of the way as this happens, and she's gonna move over towards the door and like carefully open and like peek out of it.
I step on it. Oh, okay. No, I thought you meant the trap door.
No.
Never mind, we're
She's
good.
going to the front door where there's like the street and like peeking out to make sure there's like no one on the street as they try to exit.
And I've completely abandoned all stealth. I am straight out the door.
Okay. Good to know.
Is there like a pen or paper?
Yeah.
Quill, I guess, would be the more accurate.
Yeah, there's like a general ledger that's, right next to the till that's like, sold this for this much, restock.
Yeah, Rue will take a note. What does she want to say? To whom this may concern, we are a group that is looking for work. So hit us up. You know what I look like, so send me a message. Wink, kiss.
All right, Golaneth.
Yes,
Even
sir.
as Karis is like peeking out the door, you barrel into it, throwing it wide with wild abandon, kind of running onto the street. There
Middle of
is-
the road,
Middle
hands
of the road.
on knees.
Yep.
And then I just put my cloak over, completely over my head, and then I look around and still myself.
There are luckily no one that you can see watching right now.
And I look at Karis and I'm just, oh, thank God, I'm so sorry.
But you do hear something.
Ah, shit.
You hear laughter.
Hold on a second.
Laughter coming from the far left side alleyway. You and your friends have not gone onto that street, but it seems to be approaching.
Rue, it's not funny. It's not funny, Rue.
I mean, it is, but that's not Rue. I'm pretty sure. 'Cause she's and like Karis like points over her shoulder. Is she's like kind of leaning on the door frame where she's kind of
Rue is still in the building.
Exactly. Karis is like leaning on this outstretched, door because she's still had her hand on it, just trying to like keep herself upright and like push back.
I just go,
up.
I go more pale and I just go, Rue, shit. And then slowly turn towards the laughter. Just my head, though.
Sure.
I kind of angle my body the other way.
They are not in sight yet. You estimate you probably have about 18 seconds before they get within visual of you.
Oh.
I duck into the shade, and as I duck back across the street, I kind of motion for cars to go back in.
Panicking.
No!
So close is it? Close
You know
the door.
what? You close the door, and we are going to rejoin Belvis and Maggie.
Please.
What are we doing?
All right. Maggie, you are in the room with your family and Una, resting after the long day. It is a calm atmosphere, as I think the room you are in has a small fireplace that is lit and blazing with a calm, warm rush that kind of fills the room with this homey atmosphere. The three kids are asleep, one hugging your leg, their head against your knee, another seems to be half hanging off the bed, and a third is clutching a small children's book that you and Una had been reading. Una, her eyes too heavy to carry on conversation, has just rested her head against your shoulder and dozed off to sleep.
I can't play anymore because I'm dead. You just killed me. That was, I just died of sweet. Anyway, sorry.
It's all good. You have a lot of time to think tonight while your companions are out about causing mischief, as you know they do. And you feel from the fire your little fire bee darting among the coals as it plays among the fire, and it swirls the fire itself into small, intricate bee approximation of a drawing that kind of trail along where its stinger is, and it kind of pauses for a moment and looks to you. Oh, this is nice, it says.
Very nice. It's very, very. She's actually whispering, but I won't actually whisper. It's very nice.
Did you know that?
Did I know
Did you know that it's nice?
that it's nice? That the
Yeah.
Coles are nice? That being here with everybody I love is nice? What part?
Yeah.
Yes, I did. I knew that that was nice.
And then it goes back to just darting among the coals. It's around this time that Beldis, I don't believe you were sleeping at the inn, were you?
I would not.
I thought not.
I would go to my room. I would wait for what I would assume, because everyone's got to be tired. Nobody's going to be bound and sneaking around outside tonight, so I'll be the one to
Absolutely not.
do that. Yeah, yeah. No, so I will sneak my way out after. I think people are probably tucked in enough, or drunk enough that they won't care when they see me walk out. One of the two. I will, however, stop at the bar on my way out and flag down whoever's working.
Okay. Maggie, you would be in the room closest to Beldis. You do hear the sure-footed steps of your bard getting up and leaving. And heading downstairs. Alright, so you stop.
I think I very quickly scan everyone to make sure that it didn't wake anybody up, and I don't say or do anything else.
Okay. Alright, Beldis, so you approach the bar. There's still a little bit of commotion at this point in the night. Drinks still are being served, and the bartender kind of looks at you. Yeah.
Yeah. Did you guys do breakfast?
Yeah.
Perfect.
We do that.
Great. I have friends staying. I like to buy them breakfast. I have to go take care of some stuff. You know, hey, back home, good times. Gonna catch up some night air. You know the family? The tall one, the bunch of little ones, the really, yes, them.
Yeah.
I think they've been here for cool.
Yeah.
I'm assuming they've been eating breakfast
Yeah.
here. They've been okay, great. I want to buy them breakfast, but can we get some extra? And if you have to source out for this, I'm going to cover charges here. Believe me, you're going to pay. Can we get some like cream pie donuts or fancy pancake? They're kids. Get the kids some nut. The giant pile of the whipping cream and such. I love the way you just keep nodding along with me. Are you?
All right.
Should you be writing this down?
Nah. I got, so something sweet.
Yeah. Insight check. Is he paying enough attention to
yeah.
remember this for the morning? And I will burn a crit.
Okay. Wow. All right. It does appear they are paying a lot of attention. This is the look of someone that has been a bartender for a while, able to keep track of who is drinking what, where it is going. It seems more like the simple answers are more of just their normal conversation. Is like this is someone who does not like talking to people much. They come here to serve drinks and to get paid. But you don't get any gleaning that they are not intending to go through this if they're being paid for it.
Perfect. All right. Excellent. Cool. Will 5 cover?
Yeah, that's good.
Okay. 5 gold on the table.
They will take it, and he kind of calls to one of the servers and kind of goes, "Some sweet kids in the room," and passes them 3 of the gold. and then the other 2 they put in the till for probably ingredients they already had.
Excellent. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Have a wonderful time. It's been great staying.
Oh, stay safe.
If they ask, because they probably will, because I probably won't be back, I will be back. If they need to find me, they can come look at the Hall of Echoes.
Yeah, I'll direct them.
Thank you. And then I will go ahead and leave
All right.
and
So,
enjoy the wonderful city air in a mountain.
Oh, that was not the music I wanted. Whoops. I was like, that's a little bit too
So
mysterious.
foreboding.
Yeah. Yeah.
Terrifying.
Ooh.
It's almost like there might be vampires running around out there.
Yeah. Ooh. All right, let's go. Bellis, as you walk through the streets, the lamps glowing, the lichen lit up like stars above your head. You can't remember the last night that you did not have the actual stars above you. And the feelings of melancholy of the past years and your experiences have brought you back here in a place I don't think even you thought you would ever return to. Not really. It's a time for... There's a lot of time to think on your way to the Hall of Echoes. What does your mind wander to as the biggest thing that you missed?
There is so much of the little things right now. While not having the guiding stars above is somewhat disorienting, just the familiarity of the street, the way this smooth out stone just feels, it just feels right at this moment here. That's, I would say, stale by comparison. Air is probably the sweetest and freshest ever. This is, as I go past whatever, little landmarks, I occasionally stop at like one intersection. I just kind of looked and it's like, we played ball over here.
As you look, you almost see wisps of a younger Beldis playing ball with friends, some no doubt stone, some farther away than you could ever think to reach them. Some probably still here. You can still hear the laughter as you chase the ball down the street.
Oh. Good times. Good times, good times. Continue my way going and kind of shake myself out of the nostalgia of the moment, though not fully lost to it or from it. Okay, what's my plan going forward? It's, for reference, it's like what, 11 midnight?
Yeah, I would say
1, 2,
it's like
3.
11:45, close to midnight-ish.
Okay, perfect. All right. Yep, I'm gonna wake people up, and hopefully they don't hate me for this. As I'm making my way to the hall, I will dig through my bag, and that rolled up sash that I pulled out the one time, I bring back out, and I adorn it in the trained and traditional manners that was once supposed to be my life's calling. And I'm going back to my old school at the Hall of Echoes, because that's where we left. And I'm hoping somebody's awake.
All right. So before you get there, I think there's one last memory that I would like to explore with you.
Oh no.
You think back. I think it is almost when you are at the cusp of the halls that You hear laughter. It is warm and light and loving. It is the laugh of Yardi, Sarah's daughter. And you remember, your mind begins to wander to the last time you traveled with her. You remember sitting on the back of a wagon. It was almost the cusp of winter, the end of fall. Frost had just barely begun to fall, and the two of you were wrapped in a woolen blanket, leaning on each other as you hitchhiked to the next town. You remember her looking at you, her golden eyes glittering, the curl of the lipstick-stained lips pulling into a smile. Why so serious today?
It's just been an interesting day. It's,
Well, they're all interesting days.
they are just. It's just got that moment.
Just that moment?
Just a moment. Many moments.
A moment.
How stop it?
As if you'd make me.
You know I couldn't.
Oh, I know you couldn't. But it's okay. You know, I won't tell anyone.
They already know. Don't. It's obvious. You'll break me in half. I think you've done it almost once. Ugh.
No! I never. And she gives you a playful kind of push with her fist, like a mock punch, and lets out a laugh. It's gonna be winter soon. Any plans?
I mean, it won't be my first one. I will definitely season it well, but it is time to keep moving for me. I think I'll be going west. The days are so short. If I chase the sun, maybe they'll last a little longer.
I mean, I suppose so, but you're gonna live it so long. What? You'll still be here next year when the sun comes back here. You could stay. I mean, you could stay here with me. The sun is still gonna rise tomorrow, I promise.
The sun will still rise in the morning. Now I'll stare off into that horizon at this moment here. And as the first sun rises, as the smith starts its forge, and brings the light of day to all, making way for the for the sculptor, the second to work in the days, will take the beauty of the land, shape it to form, leading way to the painter, who seems unnoticed until the bitter end of days, and at this point I'll go towards the other horizon where the last paling moments of the setting sun are. The colors that we can only wish to obtain and hold in our hands will fail to the night sky. But as each one wakes for the morning, to the task that they're set for them, I have to move on as well. I have to keep spreading the stories. I have to keep telling the tales. The dwarves of the crystal should be known far and wide. I'm staying here. I may never leave again.
What is it with all of you long races and your long ways to say, not yet? And she lets out a laugh and kind of flops her head to rest on your shoulder. And she looks up to the stars, now forming, and she just says, well, here's to one last night. Huh?
I suppose once more. As the stair goes.
And as you kind of reach that point, you feel your feet hit the cusp of the halls. At the very place that you set out of so long ago. And that's where we're going to take our break. So, we are going to get some water, stretch our legs. I hope you all don't go too far away. We'll be back in, let's say, 9 minutes. So, don't go
9
anywhere.
minutes?
We'll see you soon.
See, when I hear laughing,
And we're back! Hi, everybody! I hope you didn't miss us. But you know what I do hope? I hope you got some water, got to stretch your legs, you know, maybe grab a snack. Because snacks are great, really. If I could do nothing but eat snacks all day, I probably would. And that's a fact. Exactly, that's a fact. But we are back with Anarions Rest, where last we left off, Beldis, you had just reached the cusp of the Hall of Echoes.
Okay.
It is the stone itself, the archway, the carved faces of those dwarves before you, above the entrance, is exactly as you last left it. Maybe a few more specks of dust.
Just a couple. Is it barred from entry?
No, it is
Okay.
not barred. And you see, just beyond this doorway, it's kind of got, these doors are still kind of open. They're set ajar. They are big wooden doors with iron rivulets. And beyond are several carved buildings that have, one or two of them have the subtle glow of candlelight. They are typically the alcoves or where people are housed, whether it is grieving family or brothers, sisters of the order. Further in, there is this carved tunnel. It is about 30 feet by 30 feet, wide arcing into the crystal itself. On the inner walls, you remember the carvings, each one a name, a family, a story that ended far too soon. And you know what's past that? A small chapel and everything else.
So, I have to stop and just take it all in for a moment. And two things. One, trying to remember where would be the best right now to request, we'll call it a guide. Or in my particular case, I'm looking for an old friend. And then at the same time, I will pull out the copper wire that I've used previously in message, and I will now do the wrap around my fingers and thumb in what is more ritualistic standards for communication here to not disturb the silence. So,
All right. And who are you messaging?
I have, well, this is just the cantrip, so I need to be a lot closer to somebody.
Okay.
So, nobody right now. I'm going to whatever admissions, the office,
Yeah. Yes. So you head on in past the two oaken doors. The alcoves for the grieving and for the guests set aside. You head through the tunnel itself. To your right, as the tunnel opens out into this wide cavern, is this almost a waterfall. It is a waterfall of opalescent liquid. It is almost crystal, almost water. It is something in between, and it makes no sound as it falls, forming this sheet to hide what's behind. And in the center of it is some carved stone and a lever that you would know that when you pull the lever, this iron bar rises and creates a little cascade that people can walk through. However, on your side of the sheen, there is an altar, a temple, and then there is the general administrative building itself.
Okay, but there's nobody here, so okay.
I will say that administrative building does have lights on.
Right.
So
yeah.
there's probably someone inside.
Yep. I'm just getting this wrong. All right. I will make my way towards administrations, and if I come across anybody, I will hold up my hand, showing that I have the wrap on, so signify that if they are able, we can communicate through the cantrip and therefore not disturb the peace.
Okay. You see one or two acolytes. They walk in these almost silken slippers that issue no noise on the stone itself.
Oh crap! I take my boots off real quick.
You take them off. I will say you can take them off far before you see them.
Nope. I forgot about it to this moment. I'm taking them off
Okay.
now.
You take off the boots. They offer you a nod in appreciation, and then they continue on. In their silent vigil, one of them is carrying a lantern. The other one is carrying a book. And they are headed back the way you entered. They look young, I will say this.
Yeah. They look okay. I will let them pass, and I will go to administration I'm going to assume they're either in training, doing either training ritual right now, or they're on a purpose, and I'll let them to that.
All right. So you come to the administrative building, and I'm assuming you can peek right through one of the windows. You see two dwarves. One is an aged dwarf. Their beard is gray, almost stark white at this point, from last you remember them. Their eyes, where once you remembered this bright blue, are now this colorless stone gray. They have a single arm that is in a sling, and a cane that is resting on their lap. The other dwarf is one that you are intimately aware of. Elsgrid Woldfury. Their beard is this crackling firelight red. Their hair shaved, the side of their temple tattooed. And the two of them are sitting across from each other at a table. There's a candle and there are two books, and they are reading. And both of them, around their finger, is that copper wire.
Do I recognize the elder?
You can roll me a history check at advantage.
Okay. History +4, so 13.
13. You don't remember a lot about them, as they were not someone that had personally trained you while you were here. From what you remember, their name is Gunder, and they're one of the oldest dwarves that have remained in recent memory.
Okay. Make my way up. Okay, we didn't sleep. Okay. And I will stand there motionless for a moment, kind of in view and silent, not making, and just wait see if there's a head that turns up. I'm mostly looking directly at Elsgrid.
All right. Well, with a 24 and a nat 20, both of them, in tandem, kind of turn towards you, almost expectantly. And they wave for you to come in.
And I certainly enter. And at this point, any communication I make is through the cantrip message. So just throwing it out there so I don't have to keep throwing it out there.
All right. So what we're going to do is we're going to rejoin Golaneth, Rue, and Karis. And we're going to complete that scene and we're going to rejoin you all in the morning. Let's get some music going. Let's see here. Maybe not this one. There's no more stealth being had. Golaneth has burst through the door. And Rue has left a message. Okay.
So yeah, Karis is ducked behind the door, telling Rue, I guess we got it.
Wait, is Golnoth outside?
Golaneth is outside, has
both
pulled
inside?
over his
Okay.
hood. You
Gotcha.
two are inside.
Exactly. So like you can see actually if you just step slightly left and look out the windows where people can't really see you, but you can see them. You can see him in like the middle of the street.
Golaneth, your hood is up. The laughter coming closer. You count down the seconds. You can hear the sounds of their feet. Thump, thump, thump. Closer, closer. And around the corner, two dwarven women, arm in arm, laugh. Look at you. Look at each other. Darling, do you think we're going to be mugged? Oh, I don't know, dear. Better
Would you
safe than
like to
sorry.
be?
No.
Then move along.
Guards! 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 And they both turn heel and run, screaming for the guards.
Have at you then. I just stand there.
They have fleed off in the direction that they are coming. From your trip here, you would know you've probably got not that long till there are guards.
I head back to the door, open it, I'm like, we gotta go!
What are you doing?
Yeah, what was that?
I don't know. I guess we're going. She's gonna tug Rue and we're gonna go.
Well, are we
Go,
going?
we're following
Are we
you,
going
go.
down or are we going out? Where?
We're
Where?
going.
We're going down and out, that way.
All right. Okay. After you. And yeah, just gonna grab Rue's arm and just start running after Golden, just booking it.
Alright, I would like each of you to make me a survival check. And also tell me the destination that you are trying to get to.
Not there.
Nothing! Okay, Broad, I like it. That's a lot for me to work with.
Yeah, no, I'm just trying to get them away from there and where the guards will be.
Sure.
I'm trying to put enough distance, and then I would initiate a conversation and be like, you know, basically we need to go and meet up with everybody else.
Yeah, that's a 17 for me.
That's another natural 20!
You said survival?
Yes.
Oh, that's a 24.
Alright. So, you all begin to break at a dash. Headed down through side alleys, side streets. You are Aladdin in the intro of Aladdin. Jumping off balconies, climbing onto roofs, hopping between buildings, trying to keep out of sight. Luckily, whether it is through your good rolls or because I'm generous, none of you get separated from each other.
It's our dashing good looks.
Yes, it is.
Nice.
As you all flee the scene of your elaborate crime? Was it really a crime or petty thievery? I'm not sure. And you find yourselves near the tavern. The tavern is in sight, but you are away from any eyes. I will say you saw a lot of guards headed back to where you came from. But they didn't see you.
Karis is like doubled over, like wheezing, as her cat looks just up at her balefully. One of the reasons that Karis did not get lost and separated from the group is because Magubliet was able to keep with the group, and she's got like that familiar sense of direction. So she remained in range of Magubliet. It was fine. But it was not easy on Karis, and she looks suitably mussed and wrecked, and she's there sort of going, are they gone? Are we safe? I don't think I can run anymore.
Yeah, I think we're good. Can we just go inside? Do we all have rooms? Did somebody order us rooms? Can we get rooms at this hour?
I think you had rooms.
To the room. No.
To the room. All right, so you all settle in. I will say you are not going to be able to get a long rest unless you choose to sleep in longer. I think your flight to and from probably took a little bit.
Karis, by her choice, would be sleeping in, but I open that up to anyone who wants to. Wake her up early.
Yeah. Golaneth, you only need your 4 hours. You'll be fine.
I just say, I'm not getting up till daytime.
Yeah, Rue's definitely gonna shoot for that long rest.
All right, then we are going to fast forward to the next morning. Let's see. What music? How do we want to start this day off? Nope. Not that one. Not that one.
With orange juice, garlic slathered eggs, steak, medium wood.
I mean, I guess before we went to bed, I don't know why I'm talking to Rue. Rue would love to send a message to Maggie and Beldis.
Okay.
Hi. Karis and Galanith and me did some sneaking. Please let us sleep in. Lots to tell. Wink kisses.
Maggie just responds night night.
There's a befuddled, oh God, I can't believe they did this. And the thought of part of it is like, so I have a favor for, sorry. Yes, have a good night. Different thought. And then,
Wonderful. So, night once more takes you all in to the sweet embrace of floating on clouds. Karis, you dream of mirrors emblazoned and wrapped in gold and silver, with sheens of mercury and faces that are not faces that peek from behind. Rue, you dream that you are floating on your back down a cold, dark, endless river, staring up into a sky as the lights of stars dwindle to one. Beldis, when sleep finally finds you, you are unmoving, standing still as the seasons pass you by. Suns, moons, clouds. The weather moves impossibly fast, yet you move not at all, watching. Maggie, when dream finally takes you, you feel and hear the crackling warmth of the fire, the contented sighs of your children, of Una, and the warmth they bring. You are in a house that is not where you are, and outside there's a heat and the growing of flames. Golaneth, when you meditate, you see an eye It is staring at you, watching. But for what? And morning comes.
And morning comes.
And morning comes!
We're at a.
And then none of my players ever woke up again. Just-
We're at a tavern, right?
Yes, so you, Rue, Maggie, Karis, and River are all at the tavern. Beldis is the only one who did not sleep at the tavern.
Okay. I head downstairs and I just wait at a table. Not wait on a table, at a table. Hi, may I get you an order?
Yeah, one of the staff will kind of bring you like a glowing mushroom porridge with like sprinkles of salt and a few slabs of like salted pork have been put in. And they'll just kind of slide you a bowl.
I just say, could you bring this back with no pork? Just the mushrooms.
Of course, I can do that for you. Not the problem.
Wait. Is it cooked with the pork in it?
No, we put the pork in after.
Okay, then just don't put the pork in.
All right, can do. And they will take it back. On their way, they just slide it onto the counter to some dwarf that's like passed out on the bar counter. That isn't Beldis. And
I
they just
go
kinda sit
over
next to him.
I go over and pick up the dwarf's hand and put it in it.
About 5 minutes pass, they bring out a glass of water and porridge without the salted pork. And they kind of offer you a nod. Let me know if you need anything. Happy to serve.
Just say thank you kindly, and then I ask what do you know about vampires?
Oh, about vampires, eh? Well, never seen one myself. Oh, never seen one myself. Sorry, didn't mean to startle. Never seen one myself.
I'm not startled.
But what I know is they don't like running water. They don't like getting stabbed. I mean, who does like getting stabbed, honestly? But they drink blood, don't like sunlight. And a lot of people call them biters.
Spiders, right.
Which is weird, because, there's spiders, so, if you can't hear them right, you're gonna just assume it's a spider, and you're not going to, really get confused. But it's just me.
Well, seeing as how they don't exist and everything, have you ever heard of anyone getting attacked around here?
Well, now that you mention it, a few people have claimed to get attacked in the past. I'm not even sure if a dwarf could be a vampire.
Is there a height requirement?
I think it's more of a bite requirement, honestly. But they have been finding in the Underdark. A few scouts. We send scouts out all the time for mining expeditions and the such. But occasionally, some of them show up or turn up bloodless. Now, it could be all sorts of beasties. Or it could be vampires. Ain't never seen one myself.
Thank you. And hand them a gold.
They'll take the gold, and as they turn around, they pause for one moment, as if remembering one last thing. Can't be hurt unless you're hitting them with something magical.
I hand them another gold and I say, would you bring some of this delicious porridge for my party as well?
Of course. Which rooms are in your party?
All of the cool people.
All right. All right. Say no
We've
more.
got the furbog, the tiefling, the cleric, the bar. There is. He'll turn up. It's fine.
All right. All right. We also had another breakfast was paid for for the Furbolg and her family by a dwarf, I think they told me. To have
Yeah, that's the
something sweet.
dwarf I'm looking for.
Oh, yeah. Left last night.
Where'd he go?
Ain't my job to keep tabs on people. Except keeping tabs for people.
Nice.
But
You know, if this doesn't work out, you've got a career in comedy.
oh, I don't know about that. But
Because, I mean, you're just hilarious.
well, I appreciate the compliment, but we do have, a few flapjacks, some donuts, some crawlers.
That all sounds delicious, but you at least know which way my dwarven friend went.
Yeah, I'm assuming they went down to the lower districts. They
Lower
took a left.
districts.
Don't
Lower
know where.
districts took a left. No ladders, right?
Nope.
Good. Okay. Lower district took a left. Got it.
All right. Do you want me to bring the food up to the rooms or wait for them to come down?
You'll wait for him to come down. I'm sure that they'd like to rest a little.
Mom's the word.
Thank you. You've been very kind.
No problem. They will head back into the kitchen and go about serving some people that kind of straggled down through the morning.
I would say that probably very early in the morning, Una and the kids would have left because they were heading to the caravan
Yeah.
to be safe. And definitely tears and a lot of Maggie reassuring the children, like, look, see, I was gone and then I came back. So it stands to reason, right? I'll be gone and then I'll come back. That's how it works. It's going to be okay.
I think as you're having this conversation, it's probably like as you're walking down the stairs.
Yeah. Yeah.
When you reach the cusp, the dwarven bartender from last night waves you down and lets out a whistle. And two of the kitchen staff come out with a platter of jelly donuts, frosted donuts, crawlers, apple fritters, mushroom flan, a pie. 5 gold is a lot. And they bring out, flapjacks poured with like a maple syrup that's been... You know what? I'm going to say it. Maple syrup is magic. So there's a little bit of magic in every bite.
I think I
And-
have like the immediate urge to say only if you eat your eggs first, but then I stop myself.
Of course. And Mace, someone last night, didn't give me his name, but gave me 5 coins, told me that you and your children could use some sweets. So, the staff and I rustled up some grub.
This is wonderful, but I don't mean to be rude or anything, but what did this person, look like?
He describes
Not like
Beldis. I'm not...
No, she gets it. Okay. Oh, well, that's wonderful. I thank you so much. Is there enough to share? And she'll lean down to her children and go, see, let's find some people to share some of this with. So we're not eating it all ourselves. And, it's a good thing to share. That's how we, that's how we make friends, is by sharing.
Gamos like, okay.
You just point to what you want to share, and then I will. You can just point from a. It's. You know what? Go wash your hands.
Okay.
And I'll as the party comes down, like have the kids actually come up and say like, this is for you, and
Yeah.
this is for you, and pick what they want to give to who.
Oh, now is the time. Which one goes to Golnath? All right. So Trislana, the young Furbolg, pulls out a apple fritter and puts it on a plate herself. She hasn't said anything really all morning. From the previous day, she's kind of quiet. And she walks up to Goleth and she slides it onto the table. And she just stares. And then she looks back at Maggie. And she looks at Goleth. You're welcome.
Thank you. I really appreciate it. That was very kind of you.
Okay. Bye.
Okay. Bye.
And she just turns and goes back.
That was you. Well done. You did great. That was
Thank
great.
you. Oh,
That was to Trislana. Good job, and good pass Trislana on the head. And then I'll pull the kids after they've kind of done their giving. Then they can eat what they want.
Yeah. Gamos sits at one of the tables, and kids are disgusting, especially when they are getting a large amount of sugar. And Gamos just is shoving food in his mouth as much as it can fit.
I think I have like a washcloth basically just with me and just periodically sort of cleaning around the table and some hands and mouths and like trying to keep it off of clothes. And like Una and I are like, we're on each end.
Yeah, I think Una at times, like when you're about to like tend to Gamos, is like, no, let him choke. That's the only way he's gonna learn. Like, and Sefri is taking small bites of everything. Like a small bit of pancake, a small bit of this, a small bit of this. Almost like she's trying to ration and eat everything.
Make sure that she gets a taste of everything else. Just make sure that she doesn't miss them.
And about that time, I think that either Rue or Karis would probably wake up. Probably towards the tail end, I would say. Or Beldus, how early are you coming back?
I probably wouldn't be coming back for a while.
Okay. Noted.
Hey, Rue, heads or tails?
Tails.
Okay. That means, I think... Oh, you wake up first.
Okay. All right, so a mechanical question here. All right, so we just got, I think Rue just got like 3 new spells.
Mm-hmm.
Is there like oh shit, I know how to do new things? Or is it like in the heat of the moment, you're like, I didn't know I could do this, but I just did it?
So, I leave that up to you. If you would like to glean divine inspiration, I think when you have to get your spells, you have to spend a certain amount of time praying to your deity. So I think that as you're praying early in the morning, you get almost like these visions. Like, they're prayers that, are like the ones that you have heard 1,000 times and could, repeat off memory. Yet you cannot remember ever saying them. It comes to you so naturally and so fluidly, but you have no idea where you learn it from. It is like this information is being funneled into you. And I think that is how you can kind of tell, like, oh, these words have magic.
Okay, yeah, then in that case, Rue would be, I guess, finishing up her prayer. Like, Yandala, let us feed and heal the needy, and let us serve divine justice to the greedy. and the bastards out there. And then she's like, oh, okay, I can do that.
I like where your head's at.
And then she will pop in a good berry and head downstairs.
All right. As you come down, you see the sight of sweets being distributed. You see Gamos with his head flat on the table going, "Oh!" And the other two, I think Sefri is laughing. And it's like, haha, you couldn't even hit me if you tried. You can't move.
I think I'm sort of rubbing Gamos on the back, like sort of comfortingly. Like there's a little bit of like, yeah. But then, he's feeling it. So now I'm being comforting. And
Like,
I'll wave it at Rue, and then I'll send Sefri to give Rue a donut.
Sefri will walk up, and I think Sefri carries it to the base of the stairs before Rue has even gotten there. It's just holding it. Hi.
Oh, hi. Like, what do you got there?
Donut.
Asked and answered. She'll actually like do prestidigitation to clean up like a little spill on their bib. And they're like, oh, well, thank you. I will put good use to this.
Okay, bye.
Oh, okay. And then if they're not looking, Rue will just put it on the passed out dwarf that was on the
Yeah,
bar.
he's got like a stack now.
And I'm too busy like giving Sefri a thumbs up to even notice that you're not eating it.
And yeah, if there's any like wrangling that needs to be done, she'll try and help out with that. But then she'll just I guess kind of head towards Maggie and wait for everyone else to show up.
All right.
I'll definitely be like, that thing that you do that cleans things, you could maybe just wait a minute, because you're going to have to do it a bunch of times, but like just hold that ready.
Yeah, just save it for the end. I got you.
Thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
Thank you.
So, well, I'll save it for later. But we've got things to discuss.
Away from.
Yeah, probably.
Okay. All right. Do we wait for everyone, or?
I don't know. How do we? We should all go. There's no light here. Yeah, we should all go with your family to make sure that they make it to the caravan.
Okay. All right. Okay. That's a wonderful idea.
So how was last night? You seen everything? Yeah. That's you.
That's it.
Yeah.
I mean,
I mean, yeah, your eyes have a glow to them.
Yeah, it's been a very long time since I've seen my family, and I could forget for a little while that it was also only one night. Not to be a bummer, or bring things down, anything like that. I just, it was wonderful.
Well, I mean that's great, but depending on the I guess what we do in the day, I can always send a message for you if you ever get I don't want to say homesick because your home is not there. If you ever get family sick, that's
family is home.
Yeah,
family's home.
Home is where you make it, right?
Home is where they are. That's Well, wonderful. If you could, can they talk back? If you do,
Yeah, a little bit, but not a lot. But I
a
guess
little
enough.
enough to know that they got the message
Yeah,
and
and
are
they're
okay.
say, yeah,
I boy, that's wonderful. uh, Thank you.
yeah. Of course. I mean, we're uh, extend chosen family.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely, uh, absolutely. I'm so glad that you got to meet the rest of my family. That all of you did. Yeah, yeah. You're right.
And then Rue reaches in her pocket and like fishes out just like a chewed up piece of donut. It's like, pleasure. It was great. I don't know who did this, but I'm usually pretty good about
Oh,
noticing.
sorry. I don't. Oh goodness, I'm sorry. They're just a little excitable with the sugar and the seeing their mom again for the first time in months. These are just a little. They're excited. I'm sorry. Sorry. Oh, do you need help like cleaning up or any? Here, let me
Oh
take
no,
that.
no, I've got it. Hey, you got a little rogue on your hands there.
Very energetic child. Very energetic child, which is wonderful. It's a good thing. It's wonderful, and it's wonderful. It is really.
No, yeah, this is amazing. I just we got your family. Well, I guess we haven't met Galadus or not Galadus, Baldus's family, but we'll get there.
And okay, awkward question. Your family?
They're. I honestly don't know where they are. They actually hunt dragons, so they kind of travel a lot.
They,
Insight check.
they,
What did you say?
Maggie's not doing my insight check. They hunt they wow. That's amazing. That's it. Wow. You must miss them a lot.
Yeah, they could be a bit much. It's like, hey, why don't you join the family business, hunting dragons? And it's like, well, I don't want to hunt dragons.
I want to cook.
I would, yeah, cook, help people, not kill dragons.
Because killing dragons is not. It's not good.
Does Rue know about the curse on Beldis and it came from a dragon, or?
We had that whole conversation the night before. Yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah. 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 I mean, it's tough because, like all creatures, some are bastards and some are kind of good. But, my parents just go for whatever, the most infamous ones, and they try to make a name out of it. So, are they bad? Maybe.
You're not interested in making a name.
Yeah, with a name, there's a lot of bad things that can be attached to it. I don't know. And it also kind of just puts a target on your head. So I'd rather just stay below that.
Under the radar.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Yeah, I've never wanted to make a name for myself either, really. I like simple.
Well, I mean, you better change course though, because that honey you're making, you're gonna make a name for yourself real quick.
Well, I mean that kind of name that's a different kind of a name that kind of name would be okay. But tell the story of the good dragons to my children someday when you have the time. I think they'd like to hear about that.
Yeah, of course. I can. I mean, if we go, if we meet back up with them on the old trail, I can definitely, I can spin a yarn.
Wonderful. That would be great.
About this moment that you realize Sefri has kind of snuck off.
Okay. I'm gonna look for Sefri.
She is 10 feet away from you, and she is sneaking up on Golaneth. Or trying to.
I was about to say, do I notice?
You can roll me a perception check.
That's a big number. Yeah. Well, it's not a natural 20, but it's close. Perception. It's like 24.
Yeah. You see her. She's got moves for a young individual. Staying out of line of sight. Avoiding the creaky floorboards. And she gets maybe 2 feet away from you. She leans in. Mr. Golaneth, where's your family from?
I just. Oh, wow, you're sneaky. I didn't see you there.
I know.
Wow.
Uh-huh.
Well, who taught you that?
Nobody. I taught myself.
You're natural. Did you. I mean. Like, I had to train.
I guess you're not as good as me.
I guess you're right. Oh, man, do you think I could take some lessons?
Sure. So, step 1, you eat a donut.
You wouldn't happen to have a donut, would you? I look down and there's a donut. I'm like, oh my God, you're good.
Yeah. I also put one in Rue's pocket.
Yes.
I was done with that one, though.
Oh, when you say done, what do you mean?
So where's your family from?
Was it a ground score?
It was done.
Fair enough. Yeah, we're from a place pretty far from here.
Where's
Pretty
that?
far indeed. Down the road a little ways. I forgot where I'm from. Ugh.
I don't think you forgot.
You don't think so?
No. I think you're from a big house.
It was definitely a big house.
I bet you had lots of friends.
Quite a few, but none nearly as awesome as you. Nor as sneaky. That was... You really... Not many people can sneak up on me.
Do you have any brothers or sisters?
A couple. I don't really know them, though.
Why
Wasn't
not?
nearly as... Might be a story for another day. You're a little older.
Okay.
There's a lot of unhappy things that go on that you don't need to concern yourself with quite yet. Just keep practicing. You're gonna be great.
Can I pet your hawk?
Absolutely. Name's Fakal. Did you say Fakal?
Paka!
You got it! Oh my God, you're awesome. Could you be any cooler?
Mm-mm.
I didn't think so either.
And she'll just kind of pet Fakal.
And I just kind of hold my hand out and put on for call, so he kind of put his head out a little.
He ruffles his feathers a little bit and is like, "Ah, yeah, that's the spot. All right."
That's a good for call. For call!
Forgot. Karis, you are woken up. Magoobliet finally decides, "I'm done," and walks and plops down right on your face. Right in that spot between mouth and nose, and just lays there, making sure that his tail is batting your face.
And I start wiggling and moving my face side to side.
You know,
Ah.
the Goobliet's fine with it for the first few seconds. As soon as you start getting a little bit more vigorous, you feel the danger beans fall away as the claws just barely touch your skin. It's like, you're my hostage.
Then I jerk up and I'm like throwing this cat into my lap. How many times? You're so goddamn lucky I don't want to summon you again. And she picks the cat up by the scruff of the neck, sort of tosses him onto the floor.
They
She
indignantly
gets
start
up.
licking their paw.
Yeah. And there's a big stretch. And then she flops all the way over. And there's a big stretch in the complete opposite direction. It doesn't really look like much of a stretch. It's just a falling and groaning. And then ever so
No.
slowly, she shuffles toward the door. Notably, she has not prestidigitated herself this morning. It looks precisely the same as when she left yesterday, but perhaps with messier hair.
As soon as you get out the door, Magoobliet was walking alongside you like they wanted to go out. As soon as you pass the threshold, they just turn on a heel and go to enjoy the warm bed.
There is muttering in both Abyssal and Infernal, much of which are aspersions on Magoobliet's character as a cat. It sounds like spitting fire and bubbling lava and has just that harsh hiss of like steam escaping vents.
You know, part of me is like, how do you laugh in Infernal? No, Magoobliet just looks at you, blinks their beady yellow eyes, and it's just like, you can't get a better familiar with me. Come on.
And she just, there's a slight slam to the door when she shuts it, muttering, and she shuffles downstairs.
Where you are greeted with the remnants of a tray of treats. There are a few pristine, untouched donuts, fritters, flans. Not a lot at this point. And a dwarf who kind of smells like P, who has a hand in some porridge over by the bar, with several stacked donuts to their right.
Do the stacked donuts look safe? Do like his look pretty pristine?
I mean, you could roll an insight check, maybe, or investigation.
Sure.
Yeah, his donuts look pretty pristine, like people just kept stacking them as they passed by.
Oh yeah, then she's just gonna take that entire stack, and that's just gonna be hers. So she just stands there and starts eating them. And through that, muttering, "Who had the thing? I didn't know they had donuts." And it's muffled because she is eating a donut at the same time that she is asking, like, "I didn't know they had donuts in this establishment."
Good morning. Beldis got them as a gift for the children, but there were a lot of them. Too many. So from Beldis.
Karis does her part in making sure that there's a lot less of them for the children to eat by eating nearly her own weight in donuts.
Are you okay? You look a little mussed. No offense, that wasn't a criticism of your. That wasn't a criticism. I just.
I need. Gosh, I need something to drink. Hey, you! And she's like looking for the bartender, a server, or somebody.
Yeah.
Hello. Yes. Brown morning potion.
Hot or cold?
Hot. With whipped cream. Do you have whipped cream?
Yeah.
Excellent.
On the rocks.
That.
On the rocks.
No.
All right.
She just gives him a big thumbs up. And she continues to stand by the table, just consuming donuts. Even some of the less pristine ones, like she is not being choosy about this. There's some where she like looks of as long as it didn't fall on the floor and it looks to be the flavor and thing that she wants, she's eating it.
About 5 minutes
No one
pass.
cares about it.
You get the coffee. You get the hot brown morning potion. Hold the
Incredible.
rocks. Add the whipped cream. Maybe
It's
some
like, oh, that's
cocoa
good.
shavings on it.
Nice. Remind me to tip these guys.
Rue said we need to all talk, but away from, and we're just waiting on Beldis. Does anyone know where Beldis is?
There's a place. We talked about a few places last night. I'm thinking of a hall of something. Hall of silence.
Whispers? Is that ring a
Hall
bell?
of memories. What was it called? It
I
was
feel like
something
Maggie
spooky.
would remember, but Jen can't.
Rock and Roll
Hall of Echoes?
Fame?
It's Hall of Echoes, right?
You know, it could be that.
Hall of Echoes. Hall of Echoes.
Yes.
Yeah, sure. We'll go with that one.
I can send him a message, see if he can meet us, or
Yeah, I don't want to walk. We did too much walking.
well, we're gonna have to walk. We need to
Yeah, but just not yet, right?
so like put a hand up. Escort the family out of here.
She just looks confused, like her brain is still like starting to try and fire with the addition of sugar, brown morning potion. It's like taking a bit for that to kick in. Oh, okay. All right, yeah, fine, sure, whatever. And she just like guzzles more. Like if I
Cool.
apply more, it will work
This is me.
faster.
This is me every morning. Like I'm feeling this so hard.
Rue's gonna try to climb, I guess, on top of the table and like motion to Maggie. So I don't know how to dance around this, so I'm just gonna be a little direct. We had eyes on us last night as we were sneaking, and a thought occurred to me that there may be vampires after. Well, there's vampires that are not happy with me, and
Can I hear this? Sorry.
I feel like, yeah, we moved away from the kids and like closer to Golaneth, right? Yeah.
we are definitely in a place where there is no sunlight, so we should move fast to get your family out of here.
Why are vampires after you?
Well, they were bastards, and I threw some sunlight at them to save a few folk,
Here.
and they didn't like that. It was in the Underdark, and we found a hole to said Underdark.
What did you all do last night? What
I
happened?
really wish I could answer that question, but I have no idea how it happened. We saw a ghost turtle. and then we followed that into a. I don't listen. It's early. None of it really makes sense to me, but we found
Ooh.
some stuff, and I had a dream last night, and it was kind of foreboding. So
And nobody consumed anything strange last night.
that
Picked a mushroom or.
Well, Galenus picked up some mittens, so maybe.
Speaking of picking things up, can I have my tools back?
Oh, yeah, of course. And
There we go. Sorry.
Are they still there? Okay, I didn't know if the kid had stolen them or not.
Okay, I'm trying it. There was a ghost turtle and an eye and some mittens and the Underdark, potentially vampires, and a foreboding dream.
Yeah, I mean the dream could be, that doesn't necessarily mean it's connected. I don't know, but it could be. I mean, all the stars were being plucked out of the sky, and I was floating on a river. Is that river Styx? I don't know. Do the stars mean my deity? Again, I don't know. I'm not like a dream reader. Do we have a dream reader in the group?
I've never heard of such a thing.
Karis, can you read dreams?
What do you mean?
Like if I told you my dream, could you tell me like what it means, or like if it was like
like that stuff that like
planted in my head by like someone who wasn't me?
I'm a vampire.
So like, do you mean like actual divination, or like your roommates in Bardic College are just trying to tell you that the sign that you were born under means that you're laughable,
Yeah, no,
like and emotional and like all that shit. Like do you mean like that, or like actual magic?
Divination, not like hocus pocus.
Oh, okay. Like there are some signs I think I remember. Divination really wasn't like my focus, but I know a few things. So like, I guess, tell me about it.
Well, I was floating on a river, I guess looking towards the sky, and all the stars were gone except for one. I think they were being plucked. So I don't know. The dream ended before I woke up. Is that how dreams work? I woke up before the last star was taken, so I don't know.
Darkness, metaphorically speaking, could just mean it has a lot of meanings, but it's like could obscure things, like things will be being obscured from you. I think in this context, it means generally like something is encroaching over something else. The river is like journeys, because rivers flow in different directions and they're like paths or something. I forget what Professor Pergolith was saying about that. I fell asleep. Like honestly, like I fell asleep in that class like so many times. But I guess something about that. You're on a path, and because you're not walking on it, you're being led down it because you're on your back in the river, right? Like you're not swimming, right?
Yeah.
So,
I just want to point out,
this path, something is encroaching on. Crap, what does stars mean? Hold on. And she like digs in her coat for the book, and she starts like flipping. And it'll take a while. She just sort of stops for a while and just starts flipping pages.
Rue, given the possibility that what's incursioning on us is vampires, could you, in the meantime, perhaps contact Beldis and make sure he's okay?
Oh, yeah, of course. Yeah, I mean, I guess maybe the vampires could smell me on him and know he's with us.
I mean, there's a lot of strange things going on in your story, so I don't really know what is connected to what or how or why, but like, let's just find out where weren't you gonna mess?
Yeah.
I mean, you don't have, I'm just distracted by vampires might be coming after us and my family, so, I'm just a little.
Yeah, yes. One moment. It's a rotary phone. Beldis, dear. So things happened last night. I think you got my message. If you could meet us or tell us where we can meet you, that'd be great. Love.
Hugs and kisses.
Hugs and kisses, Rue.
I'm at the Place of Echoes. I'm trying to get supplies for Maggie's family. Don't touch or break anything else. And hopefully see you soon.
Notably, did not answer either of the questions.
Did you call it a rotary phone?
Yeah.
Oh, I should have. Okay, well, he seems to be all right, unless he was speaking in code, but he also did not say he was going to meet us or where he was.
He's a vampire.
It's not always about vampires.
So do they exist or they don't exist, Colin?
No, they don't exist. No, they don't exist, and neither does Beldis.
They don't exist?
To me.
So, Graham, as I'm standing in the court of the werewolf and the lycanthrope here, and offering myself for their power, how's that going?
Oh, yeah. You know what? Let's get some new music.
Bye.
Let's get...
Take me, Dark Lords, I am one for yourself. I will lead you to the one named Golaneth and the golden eagle that you seek.
If you play Werewolves of London, I'm out.
Oh.
He was drinking pina coladas down at Trader Vic's. And his hair was perfect.
Thanks.
So, Rue, when I was coming up, I heard all kinds of stories and tales of vampires, and I think I choose to believe that they don't exist, but I think at the same time I do know that they do exist. And the least amount of interaction that we can have with such non-existent things, I just can't believe that they exist. That's it. Although I'm afraid that they do. There, I said it. I'm afraid. I am afraid.
Golaneth, good job.
You're welcome.
Oh, here it is. Okay. So, stars are dreams and accomplishments that you make, and usually seeing them is good luck. But here it is. If you see disappearing stars, that means like a terrible fatal accident will like befall you or something. I'm pretty sure that's what that means.
So you're saying he's going to be plucked away by a vampire?
No, not specifically anyway, but to dream about stars suddenly disappearing, it reminds you that you might fall ill or get injured or have a terrible accident, and to be careful. That's really what the message is be careful. So on the journey that you're being taken on, be careful, I think, Rue, roughly speaking.
Goloneth, can you make me a wisdom saving throw?
Oh, for the love of God. Maybe. Do I have a choice in the matter?
No, you don't.
That's going to be a 5. That's 4 on the die plus 1.
All right, noted.
Oh no.
Carry on.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, carry on. Carry on. I'm doing what I need behind the scenes. You can do whatever you want.
So I don't want to leave Beldis behind or anything, but it seems to me like getting out of these caves or getting my family out of these caves with some urgency might be warranted.
Let's get your family to the caravan. That is first and foremost, I think. Goloneth, hun, vampires exist. They are here, but I travel with the light in the darkness, so we're good.
Okay, so could I get a little bit of that light in the darkness or something?
Yeah, Golneth, what that means is, yes, vampires are real. No, they won't get you. Why? She'll protect you. And gestures to like all of Rue. Additionally, I have lots of fire and I hear they hate that. So I got you.
I also have fire and daylight.
So we're
you're
really
good.
covered, like triple
Yeah.
covered. You'll be fine.
That's like 7 bases covered.
All right. We're all going to die.
What is it about vampires, Goloneth? You face everything else with so much courage. What is it about vampires?
Who hurt you?
Who hurt you?
Here's the thing. I can sneak up and I can take the thing. Vampires take things that can't be taken.
Things that can't be taken. You mean like souls?
Your soul, your life, blood, charisma.
I mean, you can take all of those things, though. I mean, it takes some particular
But you're just an empty hole after, and you just spread the. No, it's against the natural order. It's not.
Arguably, since undeath is already in the world, it is kind of part of the. It's a whole debate, so we could get into that, but I don't want to get into that. It's a whole thing. You definitely don't want to talk about any necromancer on the topic. Like, just don't unless you want to get like stuck there for a while.
Fear is rarely rational.
Well, Goloneth, it's one of those things where it's like there are vampires that are definitely a bag of dicks, and there are some vampires that are not bag of dicks. They're good. So like
it's a smaller bag of dicks. Yeah, I got it.
No. Just a bag. I don't. That's not what I. There are good things and bad things across all the spectrum.
So as I understand it, you were trying to ferry people from one place to the next, and you were being stopped by vampires. And so you acted against the vampires, hoping to have left them to their demise. And now one of those vampires might have a bit of a little vengeance thing for you. So are like you actively being pursued, or are we just, good to go?
That, you know what? We're good to go.
All right, let's do that then.
We are good.
Maggie, pack up the kids. We're going.
Yeah. Meanwhile, Karis is back to like her book and apparently is looking up more of the dream interpretation stuff she took notes on an eon ago.
Oh.
But that's what she's doing. Is she
Roll
like
an
walks with
investigation
the
check
group.
as we go to Beldis.
Hi, my dogs are back inside.
Oh,
Cool.
it's okay. Beldis.
Hey.
The previous night, I'm going to change the music from foreboding.
Foreboding.
kind of like this.
Okay.
Your attempts at conversation are short and stonewalled, with simple, "We'll speak in the morning. There's a bed ready for you."
Very well. I will make with the accommodations that are available.
Alright. They send an acolyte to lead you over to the kind of residential housing. It is more for guests, but it is sparsely furnitured. Very simple, very Spartan. But you are showed to a room, given a key, and, set to your own devices. Bright and early, there is a knock on the door.
Yes.
As the two dwarves arrive, standing one on each side of the door, both with a little coil around their fingers, and you receive a message telepathically. What brings you back here?
Much more than I thought previously. I have... come inside, please. Let him offer him into the room.
They'll come inside.
To be quick, for time is against us in some ways at the moment. I have favors I wish to ask first. I have a friend in town whose family is here as well, who have to make to the road. They seem less than ideally prepared. I'm requesting clothing, travel gear, stuff for Maggie's family to make their life easier. Also, this one may share our same fate from a different source.
What do you mean?
They are losing their way in the way that we have as well, although not from stone. The similarities are... they're too similar to be ignored.
I see.
They have thoughts, they have theories. They came here seeking answers as well for their people. It's challenging.
The older of the dwarves, Gunther, gazes in your direction. You can see that portions of his face have already turned to stone. His leg, he's kind of leaning on a crutch. Seemingly, one of his legs is becoming as well. And he kind of thinks for a moment and whispers something into the coil that is around his finger. I believe that you may be on to something, but we most certainly can help her family. But I would like to meet with her.
I agree. You should. We are currently at... oh crap, I forgot the name of the bar. Something with about a mushroom.
Yeah, the button mushroom bistro or something.
Yeah.
Bistro.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes.
We will supply you the gear. In return, bring whoever you feel is pertinent here before nightfall.
Can do. Most certainly.
Much has changed since you left.
I was afraid to hear that. There will be. Oh Lord, there's a lot we can get into right now. I'm just trying to summarize it for time's sake.
I think at that point they would actually usher you to go get the gear you need. They'd send a few acolytes.
Perfect. Yeah.
It's definitely this is an important topic, so I think they're probably going to get a few more of the higher ups
Right.
to be involved. So they kind of are like, we must discuss, and they kind of exit.
So I would be getting proper traveling cloaks.
Yep.
If
I
available,
think
I'd
they
be
supply
grabbing
winter clothing as well.
yep,
they'll-
armfuls of boots so that people have the right footwear when they're traveling. I don't know sizes, so there's going to be a lot coming with. I'll bring it back later, I promise.
Yeah. Whatever you think is pertinent, they would supply. They'd probably supply food, dried foods, basic medicine, or basic medical equipment like some gauze, maybe a few herbs and ointments, but they will send that with you.
Perfect.
And I think that's where we're going to end the session, is you just arriving at the tavern with this stuff. And River walking down the stairs like, what'd I miss?
Vampires.
Fuck.
Vampires?
It's just all River says, and that's where we cut out. So, it has been an absolute delight to have you all here tonight. I would like to know a few things. Who you are, where we can find you, and some projects you're working on, if any, that our audience could tune into.
Allergies.
Oh no. The silent killer.
Hey everybody. Name's Kari. I played Karis tonight and will be playing Karis every other Tuesday night, such as time allows. Be excited for what Karis actually decides to wear today. I thought I'd be a cute outfit. I also play Israel in the Goldstein Investigations every Friday, where you can see me again here at this lovely channel. Other than that, I do not exist, except in the places that I decide to exist, which are usually Guild Wars 2 and here. So it's lovely to see you all, as it is always, and I had so much fun this session. So.
Okay, what's up, everybody? I'm Confounded. You can find me on Twitter at the Confounded. I'm not really up to anything else, so goodbye.
Hi, I'm Bob. You can find me on Twitter, this Twitch place at Cycler1eye. You also find me in the Free Forge Discord a lot. Pet projects that just happened, is helping with their big charity drive they have going forward right now. Donating for Toys to Tots. Cool stuff going on all week over there if you want to join. Otherwise, yeah, I actually don't have much coming up right now.
I'm Jen, and you can find me at Quixote Jen on Twitter. You can also find an awesome group of people at Play Cancer Away on Twitter. And we're there to support fellow cancer patients and former patients. So if you are one or you know someone who is and you'd like to give us a shout, we will get you connected to some fun games to play and some peer support. And I'll be on Ava Sarate's Eviscerate. I always say Ava Sarate, and I know it's really eviscerate. And in my head, it's Spanish. I will be on that channel on Friday at 10 Pacific, playing The Between one shot, where I'm going to play an Irish maid, and hope that my accent isn't too terrible.
Right. I'm Adam Madabas Lamas everywhere. I will be here every other Tuesday, and my schedule is crazy for the rest of the year, so I'm not gonna be anywhere else except for in this chair. or in LA. I don't know. I got nothing.
Oh gosh, that brings it to me. Hi everybody, it's me, your local neighborhood dungeon master, I suppose, but only on Tuesdays. You can find me here every Tuesday, DMing Shards of Anarion and Anarions Rest. So if you like to see me hurt my friends, pull their heartstrings, build them up only to topple them down mercilessly, I am here. Every 7:30 for Anarions Rest, every 8 p.m. Eastern Standard for Shards of Anarion. Outside of that, you can find me here every Monday where I am playing either MMORPGs, TTRPGs, or something to do with friends. It changes on my whim because I am a chaotic being and can't be predicted. So, sorry. We'll probably be playing some Guild Wars 2, hyping up their new expansion, End of Dragons, with some people that you may have seen on the channel or may see in the future. I have heard some more people bought Guild Wars 2, so we might get back on that train. Outside of that, you can find me every Friday playing Geharis Nervos, your favorite Tiefling Paladin, Oath of Conquest, who may have threatened to throw someone off a bridge last session. First time I had to intimidate this entire 2 years. But outside of that, you can find me every other Saturday on Polished Cryptid, where I play Mavrin Manados, your Tiefling Sorcerer, who may or may not be cursed by a god and a pirate and his party. So we'll hopefully solve at least one of those in our run. But as always, I am nothing without my players, and I just want to take a moment to say thank you, everyone, for firstly coming to show up and watch us play. It is monumentally fantastic just to see so many friendly faces in the chat hyping us up while we roll dice. We wouldn't be anything without you, and we're glad to have you. I hope we see you all soon, and my next shout out is to my lovely cast who, you know, without them, it would just be me, and let's be honest, I can't tell a story half as well as they can. So, without further ado,
watch.
yeah, just watch me talk to myself in funny voices. But without further ado, we are going to leave you tonight. I hope that you have a wonderful rest of the week, and if nothing else, stay happy, stay healthy, and we'll see you soon. So.
Can you do a solo show called the G Damn Graham Show?
We'll try. If we get, if we get 40 new subscribers in the next 2 months, maybe. That'll be our goal.
We got a goal.
Gift a sub, custom amount.
Don't do this to me. But we will see you all soon. If I end the stream, then they can't donate. So, take care, everybody. Bye for now.